Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for another live review of mine as Chelsea did go away to Russia, to the very, very south of Russia and beat Krasnodar 4-0. And I'm bloody pleased. Even though I have no idea how we actually won this game 4-0 if you actually look at the performance, but we won 4-0 and I bloody take it. And it was a crazy game. Missed penalties, Krasnodar hitting the bar, Mendy making saves left, right, and centre, us scoring beautiful goals, us playing awful football, us playing great football. It was all over the shop. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, all over the shop. Genuinely all over the shop. It was a bit crazy. It really, really was. Of course, before I go anything further, make sure you subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already, and drop a like on this live stream if you're watching it right now, or if you're watching it at a later point. And of course, also make sure you subscribe to my personal channel, which is called Laurens Vescoli. Wait, can I just show you that here somewhere? I can. Just type in that name, or the link is down in the description, or maybe if you click the I button up there, it might be there. I'm not sure. Link down in the description, or this name. Type it in on YouTube. Subscribe to that. That'd be massively appreciated. There will be another more in-depth analysis on this game over there tomorrow. But enough of this. Let me just quickly shout out our sponsors again for today's video, which of course are, as it has been for a little while now. Pre-order Football Manager 21 if you haven't already, with the link down in the description. Get it early pretty much just for being a Chelsea fan and get 10% off using the code BluesFansTV. And also, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea kits, make sure you use the other link down in the description below and, use our promo code YES25 for another, extra 25% off for any sort of football match, but especially, of course, the Chelsea kits. That'd be massively appreciated. But enough of that now. Let's get into the game and let's show you what team we went with, because this is the team we went with. This is the lineup we had for the game in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Edouard Mendy in goal, a centre-back 2 of Kurt Zouma and Antonio Rudiger. I will get into that. Aspilicueta at right back, Ben Chilwell at left back, a double pivot of Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, Kai Havertz at the number 10, Hudson-Odoi at left wing, Hakim Ziyech with his first start for Chelsea with his full debut on the right, and Timo Werner started up front. Now, there was a few things I didn't necessarily like about Antonio Rudiger starting. First of all, obviously he had this reported chat with Frank. How can one conversation turn you from the 5th choice centre-back to the 3rd choice centre-back? I don't understand this. No idea. Not saying he had a bad performance today at all, to be honest. I thought he was pretty decent. But that's besides the point. It gives me weird vibes. Like, how can we pretty much have ousted him? He was pretty much on his way out, but because of the certain, worldwide situation, we couldn't find a club to actually sell or loan him to. And that's why he stayed around. What this tells me, if last summer, if Arsenal didn't come in to buy David Luiz, would we have kept that? Would David Luiz have started games 2-3 weeks later as well? It's a bit of a weird one. I think it's weird, and I feel very, very sorry for the likes of Tomori and even Christensen, and honestly, but especially Tomori. I think it's a bit harsh. Other than that, kind of what I expected, but maybe a little bit less rotation, especially up front with Timo Werner starting. I didn't expect that one. But if we go into the game, honestly, we were poor. Ben Chilwell gave the ball away early and forced Mendy into a save. Then Kai Havertz gave the ball away and forced Mendy into a ridiculously good save. A guarantee with Kepa, that's a goal. And again, I'm not even saying, Kepa would have been awful. Kepa just wouldn't have been tall enough to save that. It's as simple as that. He just wouldn't have saved that. And Mendy did, and I was bloody happy about that. Let me just actually get rid of the lineup on screen. Of course, I will get to what you guys have put into the chat. After I've basically spoken through the game myself. And we had we struggled a lot to get any sort of thing done, because Krasnodar had this really weird almost tactic. Because let me just check, we had 71% of the ball in the end, and they let us have it other than certain moments. They just started pressing us but a lot, very hard in certain moments, and we just couldn't deal with it. And one thing I didn't like, actually, let me get the lineup up again. One thing I didn't like, if you already have to start Rudiger, do you have to push Zouma out of his position that he's used to? Zouma always plays left centre-back, whether it's with Christensen or Thiago Silva. And now, out of nowhere, when you're already mixing up the relationships, you're pushing Zouma in a different position. This makes no sense to me. So, of course, we struggled, a lot early on to play out from the back. In my opinion, that's totally obvious. And also, Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic both had a poor game today, I thought, personally. But then in the 14th minute, I think it was, maybe a little bit before, Timo Werner was brought down, and we were rewarded a penalty, clear penalty. Jorginho steps up, as he usually does, and misses. misses, hits the inside of the, well, from his perspective, left post. It flies back into the middle, hits the keeper basically on the arse, on the back, and then bounces out rather than possibly into the goal, which really could have happened. But it wasn't to be. Bit unfortunate. You guys know I love Jorginho. You know, he's clearly very good at penalties. I don't care about people that say, oh, if you run up properly, you wouldn't have these mistakes or these misses. I'm like, have you not watched football? Most people run up normally and just try to smash it, and still most people miss. Best example, Ross Barkley in the Champions League a year ago against Valencia. He just blasted it straight over. I'd rather he hits the post and is a little bit unfortunate not to score than what Barkley did last year. But, you know, is what it is. So that was, of course, a bit annoying, you know. Jorginho had that chance, missed the penalty, and here we are, still at 0-0. And then we were struggling. We were struggling to create anything, to be honest. It was just poor. The only guy that did anything was Hakim Ziyech, but we struggled at times defensively. Mendy was forced to make some saves. The defenders were all over the shop, midfield. Was no passing cohesiveness. Like, we struggled to make five-yard passes, in all honesty. But then out of nowhere, in the 37th minute, we scored, which I was very, very pleased about. Hakim Ziyech involved again with a very hard drill ball, I guess, towards Kai Havertz at the edge of the box, who just like passed it around the corner, nicked it around the corner to Hudson-Odoi, who cut inside onto his right foot, took a shot, and then the Mr. Goalkeeper helped us a lot because you know, he really should have saved that, and he just, like, it's just slipped through him, really, for 1-0 in the 37th minute, and that was then half-time, really. And going into the second half, it was even worse. Krasnodar were pretty much all over us, dominated us for the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half. We did absolutely nothing. I'm telling you guys, we did nothing. We were struggling all over the shop. They hit the bar. Zouma and Mendy collided when, you know, a shot from distance, you know, that was the one that hit the bar. And then it bounced back into play, and then Mendy, and Zouma went for it, and some other Chelsea player, and obviously a Krasnodar player, and then Zouma and Mendy stayed down for a bit, especially Zouma looked a bit harsh, but thankfully they were all okay. Mendy had to make other few saves. Honestly, it was a bit crazy. It was I don't know what you guys said about, no, he didn't. Don't know what you're talking about. But it was a bit mental. It was a bit mental, and Frank clearly had enough as well. And clearly agreed that both Jorginho and Kovacic had a poor game, because he took both of them off in one go, which I was happy with. Did a triple substitution in the 71st minute as he brought on N'Golo Kante and Mason Mount for Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, and also brought on Christian Pulisic for Hudson-Odoi, meaning we changed the shape from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3 with N'Golo Kante as the lone DM, and then two attacking eights, or two number eights at least, in Kai Havertz on the right-hand side and Mason Mount on the left-hand side as the left-sided number 8, but of course Christian Pulisic on the wing, which, you know, was brilliant, and I guess worked out pretty well, because then in the 76th minute, we were awarded another penalty, this time for handball, which I thought was extremely harsh, and we were extremely lucky to be given that penalty. But then it turns out apparently the Champions League rules are just slightly different to the Premier League rules, and in the Prem, this probably wouldn't be a penalty if the ref gets it right, but in the Champions League, this is actually a correct decision, which I found weird. I don't like it that they mix it up. There's different rules in different competitions. I don't like that, but apparently it was a correct decision. Regardless, we take it. Jorginho wasn't on the pitch anymore, so there was no debate over who should take the penalty, because Timo Werner stepped up, did go for the more traditional route of taking a penalty, and just blasted it into the back of the net. A very confident penalty. Very, very happy with that. In the 76th minute, we make it 2-0, which was a crucial goal at the time. But even more crucial, arguably, was that 3 minutes later, Hakim Ziyech made it 3-0 with another really, really nice goal, in honesty. A really nice goal. Christian Pulisic, who obviously was only subbed on 10 minutes before, nice work on the left, passes it into Timo Werner, who then finds Hakim Ziyech in the middle. Hakim Ziyech with a great first touch, great close control, and then gets away a good shot, even though he was covered by two, defenders, attacked by two defenders, I guess, and the goalkeeper, was there as well, but he managed to squeeze it through all of them, scored 3-0, and came off straight away after that. But Hakim Ziyech, what a wizard. There's a reason why his nickname is the Wizard. Some of the passes he plays, he's not going to be like the guy that takes on everyone in the one-on-one situations, but the guy can shoot. Finally, we had someone to shoot from distance. He did it 2 or 3 times. Not the greatest shots, but it's great to have someone that actually does that, because we don't do that enough at all, in my opinion. So it's great that we had that. His passing range is ridiculous. And even though I still prefer Chilwell taking the corners, because I don't see if corners haven't really come off so far this season anyways. And then he scored on his full debut, bloody happy. And then in the 81st minute, like I said, straight after Ziyech scored, we made our remaining 2 substitutions. Of course, in the Champions League, we have 5 substitutions available rather than in the Premier League, where it's just 3. as Hakim Ziyech was replaced by Tammy Abraham, meaning Tammy was obviously the striker, and Timo Werner moved over to the left wing with Christian Pulisic, I guess, on the right wing then. And then Emerson also came on for Ben Chilwell, I guess, just to, you know, rest Chilwell? I don't know, to be honest. I hope he's not injured. Hudson-Odoi actually had a massive cooling pack, ice pack on his knee when he came off. So that's a bit, you know, worrying, I guess. But, you know, then in the 90th minute, we scored another goal. We made it 4-0 through Christian Pulisic, this time assisted by Tammy Abraham, who did well from the right-hand side to cut it into Pulisic. And then again, the goalkeeper with a bit of a howler as kind of Pulisic just shot from what? A tight angle, first of all, and then maybe 6, 7, 8 yards. And the goalkeeper actually conceded the ball through his legs, which wasn't bloody good. But that was it. That was then full time. And I was bloody pleased. You know, it wasn't a great performance. Part of the first half were really poor. The start of the second half was really poor. But then we turned it on. You know, we made substitutions. That is what I like to see from Lampard. Make subs. It works better. Of course, we were maybe slightly fortunate with the penalty decision. And other things going well too. Thank you, Paul Styles, for the $7.99 Australian dollar donation. He said a comfortable win, not the best performance, but it was worth waking up at 4:30 a.m. for. Now let's beat Burnley. First of all, really, really respect the dedication to get up at 4:30 for a Champions League match in midweek. Obviously, these guys have, you know, worked the next day or school or whatever else they do the next day as well. So really, really do, you know, love the dedication. But yeah, comfortable win in the end. Not the best performance, I agree. Now let's go to beat Burnley. 3 clean sheets in a row, which is what I want to highlight. And this is kind of exactly what I wanted to see, isn't it? I wanted a mix, a balance of attack and defense. And that's what we got today, even though kind of both was a little bit, well, no, attacking was equally as bad for the first bar, the penalty we got and the goal for the first 70 minutes. And the defending was arguably worse, but somehow we held on because we also have a good keeper now, which is so bloody brilliant. Honestly, I love Mendy. I put it in the title as well, the Great Wall of Mendy. Honestly, it's not the Great Wall of China. It's got nothing on Mendy. He's brilliant. I love the guy. He catches crosses. He's got a presence in the box. He's amazing. He makes, you know, saves from long distance shots. He makes saves from close distance shots, reaction saves. Honestly, I bloody love the man. I bloody love the man. Really, really do. And, you know, let's talk about through a few of the performances, I guess, today. Mendy, already mentioned him. Bloody love the guy. Hasn't put a foot wrong since, first putting on that Chelsea shirt. Bloody love the guy. Zuma, Rudiger, both decent, but nothing to shout about, in my opinion, because we weren't exactly great defensively, but we kept a clean sheet. So what can I say? And like I said, my criticism of Rudiger isn't necessarily that I think he's so bad. I think he's probably equally as good or bad as Tomori and Christensen, just that he's the oldest. And I didn't like the fact that he was ousted and then comes back in over the other two. This makes no sense to me. But fair enough, he played, did all right. Azpilicueta, bit of a struggling game, in all honesty. Struggled in possession, struggled in defence at times. And Ben Chilwell probably had his worst game in a Chelsea shirt a couple of times where he messed up in possession, but still a decent performance overall. Jorginho and Kovacic, I mentioned them already. Both had shockers. Kovacic maybe a little bit better than Jorginho, but more so on the eye rather than actually doing anything productive, in all honesty. Like, they were trying to make fancy passes to each other. Those ones, Kovacic messed up way more times than Jorginho did. When Jorginho missed a penalty, slipped in an unfortunate position to give away a corner, which of course we didn't concede from, it was fine. And everyone can slip, but you need to make sure, because if we concede from that corner, at the time it was 1-0, we could have conceded an equaliser, could have made it a really tough game. So, you know, we didn't really want that to happen, did we? But, you know, no, actually, I'm going to take back my statement earlier where I said maybe Kovacic was a bit better than Jorginho. I think they were equally as bad as each other, in all honesty. Both had good passes at times, but in general, they both weren't very good and didn't provide any solidity, which is the exact problem that Frank Lampard has at the moment, because the combination of Jorginho and Kovacic doesn't give you enough defensive stability. A combination of Jorginho and Kante doesn't give you enough going forward. And a combination of Kante and Kovacic, when we try, it's very easy for the opponent, if they're smart, to find gaps between our double pivot and our defense. So that's very easily exploited. So because we don't have that certain player that we miss, whether it's a Matic or whatever you want to say, that, you know, we're kind of lacking in that midfield role. That's the problem, because no of the combinations are actually that good. So maybe we're going to go back to a bit more of a Kante as a lone DM and then a double 8 in front of him, as we did for the last 20 minutes today. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest. I said this is what I think would be our best formation, but then I've seen Kante play really badly so far this season, so I don't think in his current form he would be suited at lone DM long term. But I guess we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. Coming to Kai Havertz, he had struggled at times in the first half. Of course, gave that ball away that forced Edouard Mendy's crazy save, like only 2 or 3 or 4 minutes in. Had good moments, Kai did. Had good moments, assisted, obviously, the first goal, which is good. Had a good game. A better game than the last few, but still needs to find a bit more of, I don't know, concentration in some extent, but also like just tension in his body, it feels like at times. So, there's still more to come from him. I'm excited. And it was a decent enough performance. Hudson-Odoi, some people are in the comments are saying like how he was awful and stuff. I don't think it was awful. I don't think he was involved enough. So there wasn't quite enough movement from him. But at the end of the day, he scored a really, really crucial goal in the first goal. I know that was helped by the keeper, but not many other players were taking shots. Whether it was from inside the box or outside the box, he scored that goal. It was really, really crucial. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I don't think you can say Hudson-Odoi was poor, but he definitely wasn't like great. He definitely wasn't great, but saying he was poor is a bit harsh, if you ask me. Hakim Ziyech on the other side, in my opinion, by far our best player on the pitch. Obviously mentioned him already. Involved in the first goal, which was brilliant. Incredible passing range. Scored the 3-0 to tap it off, which really sealed the game and really killed it off, which was bloody brilliant. So very, very happy with him. My man of the match. And then Timo Werner up front, to be honest, had a poor game. Timo Werner did absolutely nothing. Yeah, worked hard and struggled at times because the rest of the team, especially the midfield, kind of didn't do much. But a few too many bad touches, a few too many times. So I'm like, try to use your pace at least, but he stopped it. And then, I don't know. But then he stepped up for the penalty and assisted Hakim Ziyech's goal. So, it worked out right in the end, but he struggled, let's say, at least for the first 75 minutes. But, got a goal and an assist after that. So what can I really say? I'm not exactly upset. And then obviously the people that came on can't really say much about Kante, Mount, and Pulisic came on and obviously made a huge difference, actually made a big difference. And that's why people say Hudson-Odoi was bad, because Pulisic came on and made a big difference. But you've got to understand that Pulisic is a really, really, really good footballer. And just because he made a difference and made us better doesn't actually necessarily mean that Hudson-Odoi was just bad. Pulisic was just better and was involved in the third goal and scored the fourth goal himself. Bloody brilliant. What more do you want? Also had an overhead kick where he missed the ball and just landed on the floor like, I don't know, a wet towel, which looked a bit funny, which will be memed. But, it is what it is. And, like I said, it's difficult to say anything about Kante and Mount. I thought they're both, as a three, Pulisic, Kante and Mount, they gave us something different. It gave us more urgency. They gave us more control. So, I was happy with that. I think you have to praise all of them three. Someone said, pardon me, he drew the penalty for the second. Oh, yeah, he did. Thank you, Stacey. He did draw the penalty as well. Fair play. I just saw a comment here. Can't see it anymore now. I was excited with the right wing. We only missed James, but Ziyech and Kai are good in the one touch. Yes, they are. Havertz sometimes needs to work on it a little bit, but I was happy with it. Pulisic got handball for the second. Yes, you're right, guys. Thank you. Do you think Pulisic is a legend? I mean, for America, maybe yes. For Chelsea, no. Pulisic is clearly better than Hudson-Odoi, not debatable. Of course he is. There's no debate. Werner man of the match, goal assist, penalty. No. I mean, yeah, he won the first penalty, that's true, but I thought Werner was poor overall. Mount brings urgency and looks good in the midfield. Wow. Yeah, I agree. This is a statement that I fully agree with. If we play Mason Mount, don't play him out in the left wing. Of course he's not going to look good. That's not his position. Like I've said it before. It's like putting Olivier Giroud in goal. We're not going to do that either, are we now? So, it's just a bit silly. But when you play him as an 8, well, he's even better than he is as a 10. He brings it at urgency, brings it at work rate, and it's helpful defensively and going forward. And it's really what you want to see. Really, that is exactly what you want to see. Kante, Mount were engines tonight. And we can't really say engines if they only played for 20 minutes. It's a short-running engine, that is. We're playing slow football, pardon me, till the goal. It gave us good vibes. It did give us good vibes. Mount is brilliant. Why people hating? He's got talent. He has got talent, but not always the right talent of what we're hoping for. But it's I never criticize Mason Mount really for playing that badly, because whenever he plays in his actual position, he usually has decent to good performances. But then he's played out in the left wing, and then I'm like, Frank, there's no point in that. One thing I do want to say, what I find weird is, so why couldn't Ziyech start against Man United and play for an hour? Huh, Frank? Huh? Because he was able to play 80 minutes today. Hope he's fit to play again on the weekend. That'd be good. Mount is way better in the midfield. Of course he is. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Game looked so different when Pully came on. Responsible for 2 goals. Yes, he is. Richard Grace, thank you for the $5 donation. Still thinking 4-3-3 is our best formation. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. I think it just a lot of that depends first on the opponent and also how much Kante gets used to being a lone DM, because I don't think we can play Jorginho as a lone DM if we have 2 attacking 8s in front of him in same Mount and Havertz. And I feel like we need Mount's urgency midfield when we play Havertz, which is for the time being. But we also can't drop Havertz because he's Havertz and how good he is and how much we paid for him. So kind of you need to play both. So if you play a 4-2-3-1, that means Havertz is the 10th Mount on the wing, which we don't want. So that means you have to play a 4-3-3, and that means we have to hope that Kante can actually handle himself as a lone DM, which he sometimes struggles with, because when he's put under pressure by the opponent, he just loses the ball every time, and it's just super dangerous. It's just super dangerous. Rice and Mount, what? Rice and Mount at 8? No. Rice is the opposite of an 8. He's a DM or even a centre-back. Definitely not an 8 by any means. Do you think Zuma plays better with Thiago Silva? Of course, everyone plays better with Thiago Silva. It's like Cahill actually looked like a good centre-back, a great centre-back next to John Terry. When, as soon as John Terry was gone, Cahill was actually pretty awful most of the time. Havertz is the new Bakayoko. Slow. Don't think you've watched either Bakayoko or Havertz a lot, mate. John Moller said, Chelsea seem to be looking sharp so fine this season. Do you think we will be able to win any trophies? Do you think? I think we looked sharp many times, to be honest. We looked sharp against Palace. We looked sharp in the first half against Southampton and for about 15 minutes tonight. I think other than that, we've not actually looked that sharp. But, you know, a first half against Spurs was good, but didn't take, you know, capitalize on our dominance in that game enough. But, you know, do I think we can win any trophies? I mean, we're out of the easiest trophy already in the League Cup. Unless we finish this Champions League group 3rd, which I bloody hope we don't, and put us into the Europa League. Of course, there's always the chance of winning the FA Cup. And in a one-off game, you can beat everyone, whoever we get drawn against. But so there is a chance, but I'm pretty sure we won't win the Prem or the Champions League. So, you know, that is that from my perspective. We won, but it was quite a boring match. I completely disagree, pardon me. I think it was a crazy, entertaining match. We scored 4 goals, missed a penalty. Krasnodar hit the bar. Mendy had to make some crazy saves. It was a couple of mistakes all over the shop. I think it was quite good. Tomori in. Yeah, I mean, Tomori, don't know what you could say. Emerson and Rudiger so lazy. Emerson literally played for 10 minutes. I'm going to say it was lazy. It makes no sense. Havertz is clever. It's true. We have to win a trophy this year for sure. Disagree. I think what matters is that we get closer to the top 2 or whoever. Well, that's the thing. I think this season might be a bit skewed because we might close the gap in our, you know, gap to the top 2. But Liverpool and City are also dropping many more points than they were last season, even, like especially City, but also Liverpool. So, you know, I think it will look like we're close, even though we might not have improved that much. So, you know, we might be very close to them, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference whether we win anything or not this season. So that is that. This is not a video game. The team is beginning to gel, another step towards better things. Yes, but I completely agree with these statements, but there's also, to some extent, you know, a lot of teams bring in better players. If you think about how many players we brought in 2004 under Mourinho's first season, and we still won like what, the first 8 games in a row or something, and won the league. So this isn't always an excuse. New players doesn't always mean you have to struggle. So Rudiger looked great today. I mean, I think that's outrageous. How can he look great? We consider about 15 shots on target. I think it was confident, a great goalkeeper like Mendy on the goal. I mean, like I said, I've said this before in the stream already. I don't think Rudiger is necessarily bad. I think Zuma and Thiago Silva are definitely better than him. I think him and Christensen both have their faults and both have their pros. Rudiger is really quick. Rudiger is strong. Christensen has better positional play and is better with his feet under pressure. Rudiger probably plays better long balls. And then there's Tomori, who isn't used enough, in my opinion. If you think about it, Rudiger played about 3 times as many games as Tomori did last season, but had about 3 times less actually good games than Tomori did last season. So if you think about that, I don't know, something must have happened between Tomori and Lampard. I don't know what, but I don't understand it. He was Frank Lampard's player of the season at Derby in that season because he was on loan from Chelsea at Derby. He was their player of the season. He comes back a few weeks into the season, he starts playing Tomori. He's really, really good. Has maybe 1 or 2 dodgy moments, but then Rudiger comes back from injury. And Tomori hasn't seen the light of day since. It's really, really strange. Hakim Ziyech must play every game. I mean, every game probably can't, but most games would be great. Clean sheet with Rudy. Yeah, okay. Is Pulisic a legend to you? No, I said this already. Thiago Silva, Zuma, Tomori, Rudiger, Christensen. I might be inclined to agree with this in current form, because Christensen can be a bloody brilliant centre-back. Christensen has two problems. First of all, his mentality and the kind of mistakes that he makes, which is obviously frustrating. Gilmour and Ampadu, thoughts. Gilmour, let's see how good he is when he comes back. Ampadu, still believe we shouldn't have let go. Still strongly believe that. Oh, Richard. Oi, you splashing out, and I appreciate the $20 donation, mate. Do you think we need to abandon the two-man pivot? Because sometimes it seems like a revolving door into defense with no support for offense. I agree with this statement a lot, which is exactly why before the season I always said I want us to play 4-3-3 rather than 4-2-3-1. The problem is, so far I've seen Kai Havertz do plays by far his best performance is the 10, which inclined me to say maybe 4-2-3-1 is the formation to go forward. But I would love if Lampard does it. I would love to see Havertz as a proper 8, as a proper attacking 8 for a few games to actually make a personal judgment where I prefer him, because in general I think a 4-3 is better. But I don't think Jorginho, Kovacic or Kante are actually ideal or perfect or good enough to play alone the M consistently. Even an Ampadu, I would argue, is probably better suited to that than all of them. But I think I'm going to leave it there. Guys, again, make sure you subscribe to Blues Fans TV if you haven't already. I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. Drop a like on this live stream if you're watching this right now. I don't know how many likes we have. Let me just check. We have 130 likes, even though there's 460 of you watching. So everyone, go down below and smash that like button right now. I would honestly massively appreciate it. It would cheer me up even more after a great result tonight, of course. And make sure you subscribe to my personal channel, which is Laurens Vescoli. You know, as you can see here now, type that into YouTube or go down into the description where there is the link to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. Help me reach 7K subs. I'm getting ever closer. And there will be a more in-depth analysis of this game over on my channel tomorrow. So I would massively appreciate it if you could come along and tune in for that. Watch the video later or tune in for the live stream there tomorrow. That'd be massively appreciated. And then just lastly, one more shout out to our sponsors. Do pre-order Football Manager 21 with the link in the description. Get it early pretty much just for being a Chelsea fan and get 10% off for using the code BluesFansTV. And lastly, if you want to order any of the new Chelsea kits, make sure you use the other link down in the description and use our promo code YES25 for a 25% discount. It helps us out a lot and it gets you the best deal possible. But enough of that. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. And yeah. No, literally messed up my own outro. Yeah, no, honestly, I appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in. Brilliant performance tonight. Very, very happy with it. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you when I see you.